Guys, whether you're a fan of Ram or not, you gotta admit, this is one really good looking truck. I mean, can you really see yourself not liking the look of this truck? I think it is probably among one of the best looking pickup trucks you can buy today. And let's take a look at the window sticker on this specific truck. So this 2019 Ram 1500 Rebel Crew Cab has an MSRP of $57,965 after destination charge, a base price of $47,495, and some of the optional equipment that this specific truck has is because it has the trailer tow group, you're going to get the power trailer tow mirrors with manual foldaway, a really cool option to have on a half-ton truck. As you've noticed with a lot of the videos I've done on half-ton trucks, even with the tow package, they don't have tow mirrors, and for Ram to include them on this specific model is really, really nice and convenient. Even though they are the same type of flip-up mirrors that they've been using for a long time, it's still nice to know that you have the mirror available in a tow position with a really good spot mirror in the event you are towing. Plus it has the level 2 equipment group, which includes the 115 volt auxiliary rear power outlet, the 8.4 inch Uconnect screen. This specific package does not have navigation on there. However, you can link your phone up to the screen and share your Apple Maps or Google Maps on the screen and use that as your navigation. This has the front and rear parking sensors, and it assists with the stop, so if you are backing into something and it thinks you're going to hit it, it will stop the vehicle if you have that feature turned on. It has the power folding mirrors. It has the proximity keyless entry or push button start, remote start system as well. It does have power adjustable pedals, which are really nice. And because this is a Ram Rebel, you're going to get the 18-inch wheels with the Goodyear Wrangler tires. It has the panoramic sunroof that was optioned in as well, and a 33-gallon fuel tank, which is a massive fuel tank for a half-ton truck. Now moving along to the inside of this truck, you can instantly tell it's a Rebel. The two-tone interior, the black on red, looks really good. You can see how they embroidered Rebel onto the seat. It has kind of this cloth material right here in the center, surrounded in leather. Looks really, really good. I can honestly say that I believe Ram has the best and nicest and highest quality in terms of components and materials interior of any pickup truck I've seen. The gauge cluster, you can tell they spent a lot of time designing. It has a really high resolution computer system in the center. The infotainment system is incredibly high resolution. It looks just really nice. And one thing I love is if you look at the buttons and controls, they only put the number of buttons to the number of actual features you have. There's a blank spot there, but they didn't try to disguise it with a fake button. They basically gave you 4 buttons because this truck has 4 features that you activate with those buttons. Even the trailer brake control button is really nicely integrated in. It looks just beautiful in its execution. Your DVD player and everything below it looks really nice, along with all of your USB and USB-C connections. Even your 4-wheel drive control and your gear shift knob is really, really well placed. Everything is just executed very, very well on this truck. It does have the auto engine off feature, which I'm not a huge fan of, and I wish they gave you more control over when it was on and off. You can see you have the ability to control your downhill assist as well as lock your rear axle. And then, of course, your 4-wheel drive selection is right here. Here are your AC controls. You also have the ability to make most of those adjustments up here in your Uconnect system by going to your control section or your climate section. This Rebel has a power driver seat, but a manual passenger seat, and I'd really like to see in this price range that it would have both power driver and passenger front seats. No memory seat option, another feature I'd really like to see in this truck. But it does have your standard window lock, window controls, mirror controls, and power door locks. This truck does have power adjustable pedals, so you can raise or lower your pedals right here. So let's move into the back seat. And something that's very common with all half-ton trucks now in 2019 is the enormous amount of legroom that you get. You just get so much more legroom in these trucks than you ever had in the past. Plenty of room for people in the back who want space. If you have a child seat in the back and you don't want your child kicking the back of your seats, these are the trucks to get now because the sheer amount of space you have between the back of the front seat and the front of the back seat is pretty massive. I think in this truck it's about 16 inches. It's pretty extraordinary. Back here you can see that you have a 400 watt 115 volt AC outlet. You have your USB, USB-C connections, as well as rear air conditioning vents, which are placed higher up than some trucks. Some trucks are placed real low. These are actually placed a little higher up. Plus you have a little storage pocket right there, which is really convenient. You have this interesting design here, and this isn't a carbon fiber design. If you go up to it, it kind of has a diamond plate look to it, but it's really shiny and there's no texture to it. Now, this specific truck does not have the sliding or reclining rear back seats, but what it does have still are fold-up seats that give you a lot of storage room back here and a lot of utility and usability. And kind of a cool feature that this truck has is if you pull this little piece and you turn it sideways like that, you can flip this down, flip it up, and it gives you more storage space back here as well. That's pretty cool. Another feature that's pretty unique to Ram are these under storage compartments here. And keep things here. You want to keep, you know, drinks, ice, whatever you want. Really cool. Great use of otherwise dead space. Then if you want to close this, you flip this up. And there you go. I'm not a big fan of sunroofs, but this truck does come equipped with the dual pane panoramic sunroof. It's a good feature for those of you who really want this. I mean, if you're looking for a nice window on the top of your truck that gives you a lot of visibility out, especially if you have children or you're going out on a long trip, this is a really, really cool option to have for some of you. And I really like how they designed the center console. It gives you a lot of customizability, especially if you want to store things in this area, but you kind of want them out of the way once they're stored. Of course, you have your drink holders right here. It's just designed very, very well. And then you can even lift up this portion to get to the back area. Very nice. And if you didn't notice this in my first video, they put all sorts of measurements here as well, which is kind of cool. It's just a cool use of otherwise, again, dead space. Very nice execution. And up here, you're going to have all your controls for your sunroof, your moonroof, your back window if you want to open your back window up. It has an electric sliding rear back window as well, which is nice. And of course, we can't forget our home link to control garage door openers and such. So we are going to take this truck out on the road and see what we think about it. I can tell you right off the bat that the limited amount of time I've had with this truck so far and cruising it around the parking lot here, it is one heck of a smooth vehicle. It's got a really, really solid feel to it. This truck just really screams luxury for a pickup truck. This is a more aggressive Rebel package, so it's going to have slightly stiffer suspension, especially considering the fact that they put more aggressive tires on it. There goes the engine off feature. Kind of a love-hate relationship. I'd love to be able to turn it off all the time and hate the fact that I can't. I have my tow mirrors fully deployed in my ghost trailering configuration because personally I just like the visibility I get from them when they're flipped up and out. This truck is smooth, guys. I mean, I don't really even know how to describe how smooth this truck rides. It definitely is the smoothest riding pickup truck of any of the half-ton trucks I've ever been in. It has a very, very nice, tame, soft, comfortable feel to it. It actually rides smoother than probably a lot of luxury SUVs would. And guys, the reason why I'm not taking this thing off and bajaing it, taking it out into some really rough areas, which I could do, is because I don't think that's how people normally drive their trucks. I want to give you more of that realistic everyday approach to driving one of these. And I'm sure that a lot of people that buy this truck are going to use it in an off-road environment occasionally, but more so than not, I think people are generally going to use this to maybe tow a trailer, tow a small RV, and drive it around as their daily driver. And they want something that's going to be comfortable, even under pretty adverse road conditions. It's easy to say if I take this into some really bad off-road situations that the ride's going to handle a certain way. But considering most of the driving most people do in these trucks is going to be on roadways and on highways, that's really what I want you guys to know from an everyday drivability perspective, what it's like. If you watched the last video I did on the 2019 Ram Laramie, you'll know that I absolutely love just about everything about the truck. There's very few things not to like about the trucks, honestly. If I had to pick a few, I'd say I'm not a big fan of the auto engine off feature. I think I've mentioned that a couple times now. Another thing that I would probably change are the tow mirrors. I'd like them to be in their always out, up tow configuration, but then have the ability to slide them in and out versus having to flip them down, because the perspective you get when they're flipped down is completely different than when they're flipped up. And you'd really have to get used to the difference in mirror configuration when they're up or down. I don't think that it's one of those natural things you're automatically going to adjust to. This truck sounds absolutely great too. If anybody's figured out how to make a V8 sound really good in stock form, I'd have to give it to Ram for really nailing it. So let's take a moment and talk about value. So this truck, after tax tag and license and everything, would cost about $60,000 if you didn't have any discounts baked into it. After discounts and incentives and all the different things that Ram does that makes buying a truck a lot more affordable than what the sticker shows, you'll probably end up getting this truck in the low $50,000 range. And from a value perspective, there are a lot of nice things about this truck. First of all, the interior is the best interior of any pickup truck you're going to buy. I think right off the bat, there's really no way to argue that point if you've been in the new Ram. In terms of the exterior styling, it has a really good look to it. The Rebel package gives it a far more aggressive look than your standard Ram. However, some people, may want more of a luxurious exterior look that you would get with like a Laramie Longhorn, or a Limited. But from an exterior styling perspective, I think the truck definitely hits the mark. Having the tow package giving you the flip-up mirrors, I think, is also really nice, because at least it gives you a tow mirror on a half-ton truck. And if you guys know, I'm lobbying that all half-ton trucks should just have tow mirrors that come standard on them. From a ride smoothness perspective, also very nice. This truck rides incredibly well, very quiet on the inside. The seats are very comfortable, so all of those, big thumbs up. From a technology perspective, that's kind of where I'm going to have to give it my first ding. I wish this vehicle had more technology and features than it does, considering how much you're going to pay for it. For instance, it does not have a 360-degree camera. It doesn't have a navigation system, even though you can use like Apple CarPlay. It doesn't have memory seats. And there's a few other features that it just doesn't have that you would expect if you're going to get a truck approaching $60,000. All that being said, though, the overall value of this truck after your incentives, discounts, and rebates, I think is pretty good. Vehicles have just gone up incredibly high in price overall, and the fact that you can still get some pretty good incentives from manufacturers to bring the price back down a bit, it makes it a little bit more digestible whenever you're going to go out and buy a truck like this. But guys, I can tell you, I really like the truck. This is definitely a truck I could see myself owning. I've been real happy driving this thing around and spending time in it. I want to definitely give a big shout out to the folks over at Lithia Ram for allowing me to take this truck out and do my review in the way that I do it. Man, this thing handles rough roads really well. It doesn't jar you or throw you around at all. It's just a really good, balanced, smooth ride. One that you expect if you're going to be paying the amount of money that you have to pay nowadays for pickup trucks. A lot of people say, well, I want it to ride and feel and act like a pickup truck. But at the same time, though, they're going to be paying 3 times as much as they might have paid for a pickup truck back in the 90s. And the fact is, you want to pay for a vehicle that's going to give you the feel and the ride and the characteristics you're looking for of a more expensive vehicle. I'm going to pull in through the backside of this dealership, because there are some areas here that would definitely give you a more realistic approach to how this truck handles bumps. Take a look at some of these potholes in front of me. I mean, this thing just handles potholes and bumps so well. It's kind of amazing. One thing I like that Lithia does is they really stock up on models that people want to buy. This dealership, if you look here to the left, they have probably 25 Ram Rebels in just about every color configuration you could imagine. And I'm going to do a little bit of car dealership off-roading here and drive through this lake they've set up here. This is a really fun truck to drive. It's definitely one that you can get in and out of every day. It's easy to maneuver. It's not that huge feeling that I get in my F450. It is absolutely a really enjoyable truck to drive. And if I was looking for a half-ton truck, I'd have to say that this would definitely be on the list of vehicles that I would consider getting into. Guys, once again, I want to give Lithia Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram here in Corpus Christi, Texas, a huge shout out for letting me take this truck out, spend time with it, and give you my overall opinion. If you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, and we'll talk to you again very soon.